I am Jess of Jess's Fab Food. I am a recently certified culinary nutrition expert and instructor, except I can't instruct live classes right now. And I am a senior leader and independent consultant, product ambassador with Epicure. Epicure is a Canadian company. We are based in West Saanich, British Columbia. We are family started and family run. So the founder started our company in 1997, and she and her daughter still run it together. Her daughter is our visionary CEO, Amelia Warren. She has been recognized as one of Canada's top 40 under 40. She is the #1 female direct sales CEO in the country. She is absolutely phenomenal, and her mother really bring to the table what a family-run business is. We are debt-free. No one else owns us. It is still just the mom and daughter who started the company that own the company. We don't have private investors, so nobody else tells us how to produce our food, which makes sure that our quality standards are some of the highest in the world. We pride ourselves in being committed to our good food mission and our never ever list. Our good food mission essentially is that everybody needs to eat. We think everybody deserves to eat well. Good food with good ingredients on every table is our philosophy. And so our never ever list, which I did share earlier this week, is something that Epicure is very proud of. We have more than 100 ingredients you will never ever find in any of our food products. Things like gluten. Our entire facility is gluten-free, so all of our products are gluten-free. Whether you're sensitive or celiac, you can eat our products without fear of contamination and getting sick. And there are tons of consultants who actually have found our company because they're recently diagnosed celiac, and spices and meal solutions and those kinds of things in the grocery store are notorious for having cheap gluten filler. And so people with a sensitivity or celiac disease can't consume most commercial spices. Epicure for the win. So gluten-free. We are peanut and tree nut free. So our facility is a completely nut-free facility. And that's something that I love in this house. My youngest is peanut allergy and my oldest is tree nut allergy. So some of our favorite products are from our Indian and Thai lines because we can't go out to eat those. It's not safe. I can't guarantee that they haven't used peanut oil or that there are other tree nuts, cashews, etc. in pretty much anything that you would order from an Indian or Thai restaurant, whether it's takeaway or dine-in. I mean, we can't dine in a restaurant right now, but takeaway even, Indian and Thai is not worth the risk in this house. So we can make Indian and Thai here safely with our own ingredients and not worry about nut contamination. We are also very proud of the fact that we don't use hydrogenated oil. So no high oleic sunflower oil, no canola oil. So those are also really cheap fillers that you'll often find in a lot of things. We don't add MSG. We don't use artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And the Never Ever list has a whole bunch of other ingredients in there that you will never find in our products. We promise that. So that is something that people do love when they discover that Epicure isn't about pedicures and manicures. We are food, and we pride ourselves in being really good food. Some of our products are comfort food that you'll recognize. Some of our products, like our Indian and Thai lines, are food that you recognize because those are what people most often go out for because they're intimidated to cook them at home. So I love those collections because I can help you make red curry and pad thai and butter chicken and vindaloo and all kinds of great stuff at home, and be confident in the ingredients, that they aren't loaded with stuff like canola oil or MSG or just too much sugar and salt, which is notoriously found in most processed foods and takeaway foods. So today I'm going to show you one of our favorite collections in the house, and it's our Good Mexican. So our Good Food Real Fast collections come like this. These are our meal delivery kits, essentially. So if you love the idea and convenience of some of those meal delivery boxes because you get everything in them and you just follow the instructions and can make dinner tickety-boo, you will love our meal solution kits. The main difference between our meal delivery kits and some of the other guys is we don't include your veggies and protein. So you do still have to shop, but you get to choose your own veg and your own protein instead of someone else putting it in the box. So again, if you prefer organic, free range, there's no box to check on a lot of those delivery services. You just get whatever commercially produced food they put in the box for you. All of our Good Food Real Fast collections come with 5 recipe cards and a grocery list. So the grocery list tells you everything you will need to create the recipes that come in the box. There's enough product in the collection to create up to 40 servings for an average price between $2.50 and $4 a serving. And that does include the cost of your groceries. So when you compare to some of the other meal delivery services, they average $10 to $15 a plate, which is great once in a while, but it's definitely not something that's sustainable. And so we love that our meal delivery kits are a significant savings, even when you factor in the cost of your groceries. And because we give you the grocery list, it makes it really easy to set up a click and collect grocery order. You just kind of go through the meal plan for the week and say, okay, we need this, 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 and this, click and collect. And at a time like this, when click and collect and efficiency in grocery shopping is something that we're all looking for because we aren't really encouraged to be out grocery shopping and looking around, I love that the grocery lists are in there to make it really easy for you to plan out your week up to your month. We do currently have collections available that are 30, 60, and 90-day meal plans with the main intention that we want you to be able to shop quickly and efficiently and not have to go out very often. So the 90-day meal plan is phenomenal for those kind of people that, I mean, you just maybe want to pack up and go to the north and never leave your bubble again. They are designed to make it really easy. And these collections give you everything you need. We have 6 different varieties. So there is Indian, Thai, Mexican, Greek, Italian, and we currently have a vegan collection as well. So I love them. So without further ado, Mexican is what we're using today. We are going to use all of the goodies in here to make quick quesadillas for lunch. So I'm actually just going to turn on my griddle for a second so that it starts to get warm, because our recipe is really quick and easy. So first what I'm going to do, I am going to use the nacho cheese dip mix that comes in this collection, and I am going to mix it with some cream cheese, and that's actually what we're going to line the inside of our tortillas with. All of my, sorry, you can hear my children. Their lives have been threatened, but they're not listening. So they're just gonna keep making noise. Okay, I have lost my spoon, so we're gonna eyeball it here. It's about 1.5 teaspoons of the nacho cheese mix that I am mixing with some cream cheese, and I'm gonna let it sit while I make some guacamole and some salsa with you, so that it has nice cheesy nacho cheese flavor infused in there. So all of our spice blends, our dip mixes, our meal solutions, everything is freeze dried, which is why we can get away without using gross preservatives, why we don't have hydrogenated oils. So stuff like canola oil and high oleic sunflower oil, those are really cheap fillers. That's why they're added to most of your spice blends that you would buy in the grocery store. But those oils are not very shelf stable. They break down very quickly under heat and light conditions, and most often our spices are kept in the kitchen, so they're always kind of exposed to heat. And so as those hydrogenated oils break down, they start to go bad. And that's that funny smell that you might notice in spices that you pull out of the cupboard you haven't used in a while and they start to smell funny. That's the oil breaking down. It's starting to go rancid, and you really aren't supposed to consume them after that point. To help combat that, most commercial spice companies will add loads of sugar and salt and stuff like MSG as preservatives to keep those oils from degrading too quickly. They're still going to go bad, they just go bad slower. But then you're consuming loads of sodium and sugar and MSG, and that stuff's not good for you either. Because Epicure freeze dries ours, we don't add any of those oils. Our jars are packed with just spices. There's not a lot of anything else in there, and there's definitely no cheap filler in there. Because we're not loading them up with those cheap fillers, that's how we get away with not adding preservatives and loads of sodium. So all of our product line are sodium and sugar conscious, and we actually have 65 products that contain no sodium at all. Some of our staples, like our chicken, beef, vegetable, and miso broth mixes, have anywhere between 60 and 90% less sodium than the broth mixes you would, like a bouillon cube or whatever that you would buy in the store. And so people love that. You get to be in charge of how much salt you're adding. So the nacho cheese dip makes a spicy, cheesy dip without a lot of the salty flavor. So that's gonna sit. I'm going to do the guacamole and the salsa next. Again, so that they have a chance for the flavors to really blend in while we make the quesadillas. So I'm using my favorite knife, my ceramic chef knife here. The ceramic blade is super sharp, which makes it great for cutting stuff like soft, squishy tomatoes. And one of my favorite things about fresh made salsa is just the absolute amazing flavor that you get. I'm actually going to use one of my favorite Tupperware products right now. I'm just sharing all the good stuff today. I know there's a whole bunch of companies that make these. I think there was actually, the ShamWow guy maybe did a commercial with a similar product to this one. The Tupperware one is absolutely my favorite. So it's just like this little hand chopper. So I'm throwing my diced tomato in there. And then I'm going to throw in one of the other products in our Good Mexican, our Poco Picante salsa mix. I'm not going to use too much of this one. This one's actually the spicy one. So if you're trying to go for a milder salsa, just use less of this. The instructions on the jar, here's a pro tip for you. Every single product that is available from Epicure, all of our basic recipes are right on the jars. So if you forget something because you've attended a cooking class with me and forgot the recipe, it's right there. I also have a really awesome website that has thousands of recipes, so you could click in Poco Picante as your search term and it would bring up all the recipes that use this. So the recipe on the jar says, per 1 cup of diced tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of this stuff. I don't even make it that spicy, and I love spicy, and so does my husband. It will set your mouth on fire. So start small. If you don't like spice, maybe add a teaspoon of this to your diced tomatoes. I'm going to start with about a teaspoon because I'm serving this lunch to my children, and the oldest one is only 9, and she is the least fan of spice, although she loves Jamaican, so she doesn't know what she wants. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon in here. Now, I am using a pretty meaty tomato, so I'm not going to add any lime juice to this, but the... Oh, Daniela says she made the beef stroganoff last night. Yum, 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 yum. That's on our list for next week. My oldest loves that one too. That's one of our meal solution packs. I'm not going to add lime juice to the salsa because the tomato is juicy and meaty enough. And then, so it's up to you. If you don't have one of these things, just finely dice your tomato and stir the seasoning in. This is why I love this thing. A few pulls on the string and you have salsa ready to go. It is made with fresh tomatoes, but it doesn't have big chunks of raw tomato. And I find the people who don't like raw tomato, it's 100% a texture thing. And so big chunks of diced tomato in a fresh salsa, where that appeals to somebody like me who loves that stuff. People who love a jarred salsa, they like that there's that stewed texture to the tomatoes and it's not quite so, oh, this is a raw tomato. So this thing is my favorite for doing that. It chops it up nice and fine so that you don't get that raw tomato texture. If you really, really can't get past that raw tomato texture, use the tinned chopped stuff. Drain the extra liquid away. And though tinned tomatoes generally have been blanched or stewed before they are put into the can. So they have the texture that people who like jarred salsa are looking for. Why I love this salsa compared to stuff in a jar, no sugar. Most shelf-stable tomato products, unless you're specifically looking for organic, no salt added tinned tomatoes, like those are the ones that I buy. If you read the back of most of your tomato-based jar products, sugar will be in the top 4 ingredients. Sugar and salt are kind of interchangeable as cheap preservatives, but in tomato-based products, they use sugar because it helps with the acidity of the tomato. So I see it very often in meal plans. If people are using a meal planning service or a meal plan guide with weight loss in mind, I often see swap chip dip for salsa and save yourself the fat. The reality is that fat is not what's making us fat. That's for another day. That's for my culinary nutrition class. Good fat is not what's making us fat. It's the fact that we replaced good fat in our food with sugar, and sugar is what's making us fat. And so telling somebody to replace their favorite chip dip with salsa because it's going to save them the fat, if their goal is weight loss, they're just replacing hydrogenated fat. So most grocery store chip dip is made with canola oil and hydrogenated fats. If you want to make really delicious chip dip at home, use your Greek yogurt and mix in your nacho cheese dip or your ranch or your Caesar. I have all of those, and you can mix them with the fat that you prefer and not have to give up chip dip in the name of salsa and then eat jarred salsa that's full of sugar. So that's why I love this one. I'm going on a tangent here. I'm sorry, folks. Daniela's thinking, why did I invite her over? Sorry. She says she loves spicy. So next time I'm over and we make salsa at your house, Daniela will make it spicy for you. So that's the salsa. It's going to sit and let the flavors stew. And next I'm going to do the guacamole. This is one of our #1 best-selling products like ever. This is one of Sylvie's flagship products. Sylvie is our founder. This is one of the products she started with. And this is one of the products that if you are familiar with Epicure but aren't really sure what we're about, this might be why you're familiar with us. This is like everybody's secret weapon for the best guacamole of life. So if you have a fresh ripe avocado, go for it. If you don't have a fresh ripe one, I always have frozen avocado in the freezer. And funny story, so when this whole strange new world that we live in started, the last time I went grocery shopping was the 10th of March, before the proverbial hit the fan. And so it was kind of weird that day, but it wasn't like overly weird compared to my average weekly grocery shop. I do have 4 kids, so I regularly shop at Costco. And I love their big bag of frozen avocado. It's like the best. So since the 10th, the last time I went grocery shopping was, I'm looking at my calendar here, I think we're rolling on 3 weeks. So the 10th, and then I went somewhere in there after March break, but before April. And it was the strangest grocery shopping experience of my entire life. It was like Brave New World. Eyes down. Don't make contact. Don't talk to anybody. Keep a 6-foot distance. Like, it was so bizarre. But people went crazy. And so the frozen section was decimated. I could not find frozen avocado. So I bought a bag of fresh ones. Here's my pro tip for you. It's cheaper to buy the big bag of fresh ones at Costco, just FYI. You get a little less than you get in that big bag of frozen ones, but then you leave them out for 3 days. You let them ripen. Don't let them go crazy beyond ripe. Then you cut them up. So cut them open, take the pits out, peel them, and dice them. And then you can put them on a cookie sheet lined with a silicone mat so that the pieces are separate. Freeze them like that on the cookie sheet. And then, once they are frozen, put them in a bag, and voila, you have a bag of frozen avocado. So that whenever you want to make smoothies or guacamole, you don't have to worry that you don't have a ripe, fresh avocado, because we've all seen that meme where at 8 a.m. it's not ripe, and at 8:07 it's perfect, and by 8:15 it's beyond repair. So having frozen avocado means that you can make fresh guac pretty much anytime you want without having to worry about having an avocado that is ready to use. So I have defrosted some of my frozen avocado. I'm actually adding it to a bowl of guac we kind of already had made, because Mexican is life around here. We're going to throw in about a tablespoon. So 1 whole avocado, you're going to throw at least a tablespoon of the guacamole mix. I don't have a whole avocado in there, so I'm not going to throw in a full tablespoon. And then this is where we are gonna juice some limes. Lime. So lime juice in guacamole is kind of like life. If you don't put lime juice in your guacamole, why are you even eating guacamole? I'm kidding. But it serves two purposes. It helps the avocado from going brown. So the acid in the lime juice keeps your avocado green so that you can make the avocado like now and serve it at a dinner party in 20 years when we're allowed to gather again. No, tomorrow, and it would still be green. But the lime juice also really helps to bring out the flavor. So avocados are great, but they're dense and they're like almost 100% fat. There's not a lot of liquid moisture in an avocado. They're wet if you touch them. They're like slimy and wet. But the moisture in them isn't really enough to really bring out the flavors in your guac mix. So that's why we're adding a little bit of lime juice. It wakes up the seasonings. So I am using our 2-in-1 citrus press here. It's called 2-in-1 because it's got a small space for the lime, and it just, as you can see, it pops it right inside out. So it gets all the juice out of there, squishes it flat, but then seeds stay in. And then it's got a bigger section for lemons. So the lemon squeezer is great for, I don't know, lemon meringue pie, gin fizz lemonade. I have a lemon chicken recipe that calls for the juice of 6 lemons, so that thing comes in handy. The girls run a lemonade stand at the end of the driveway every summer. Again, we fresh squeeze. That makes fresh squeezing way easier. I love the citrus press. It's my best friend. So that's our guac. I'm gonna mash the avocado in. Give it a stir. Oh, listen, you can hear my children ordering each other upstairs. All right, so that's our guac, guacamole, salsa, spicy cheese dip for those who are just catching up. So now comes the last part. We are going to use the fajita seasoning. So this is recognizable to pretty much everyone. This is like the stuff that comes in the little yellow package from the store. But our ingredients are just spices, chili powder, garlic, onion, mustard, black pepper, lemon, cayenne pepper, and herbs. There's no silicone dioxide, there's no MSG, there's no sugar, there's no whole bunch of other things. Canola oil is almost always found in those packets. It's just super delicious, spicy goodness. So I am gonna mix that in to our beans. So I said when I left the recipe in the grocery list the other day, a can of black beans. I honestly have like 10 kilogram bags of most beans and pulses in the basement. I teach a soup in a jar class over the course of the fall, and it's just easier for me to buy all of my beans, lentils, and pulses in bulk. So that it keeps the pricing reasonable for the people who participate in my workshops. And so I just cook our beans. My tip, if you have dried beans, soak them minimum of 2 hours before you're going to cook them. Soaking helps break apart the protective casing on beans. The protective casing is there for a reason. Beans and seeds are designed by the plant, girls, to be swallowed by the animal that eats them, but not digested and then come out. That's how the plant spreads itself around the world. So the protective coating keeps the beans and seeds from being fully digestible. By soaking them, you break down that protective coating so that our digestive systems and the bacteria that live in our digestive systems have a better chance of breaking those beans down with less of the that's my culinary nutrition tip for you. Why beans do that to us has less to do with the fiber in the beans and more to do, the fiber in the beans does help our digestive system stay active and happy, but a lot of the wind comes from the protective casing on your beans. So soaking them helps break that down so that they are much easier to digest and much less likely to make you the least favorite person at the dinner party. So I do black beans and pinto beans together. I find they're a really great combo for Mexican, and my kids love both of them. My oldest loves pinto beans because they're called pinto beans because when they're not cooked, they are a white bean with the brown speckles like a pinto horse. When she discovered that that's why they were called pinto beans, they became her favorite bean in the whole world. Pinto are also the ones that are used in refried beans. So they're recognizable and they're regularly used in Mexican cooking. So when I do them, I will soak black beans and pinto beans together and cook them together. I use our multi-purpose steamer to cook them. It is like the secret weapon to beans. Ailey, can you stop with the water, please? The 3-year-old is making a big mess over there. Welcome to my kitchen. The combination of the two, the pinto and black beans, great in Mexican. So I soak them for about 2 hours and then rinse them. Never cook them in the water you've soaked them in. The whole point of the soak water is to break up that protective coating. So if you then consume that water, it's not really good for us. So rinse them after they've been soaked and then cook them however you prefer. I know some people love the Instant Pot. You could do them in a slow cooker. You can cook them in a pot on the stove. That takes like 90 minutes. I do them in my multi-purpose steamer in the microwave and it takes about 20 minutes. And I can do other things while that happens. I don't own an Instant Pot, so I don't know, but I hear some people love it. For beans, I have heard that some people don't because it makes them too mushy, so it's entirely up to you. So here we go. Fajita seasoning in the beans. Again, I'm eyeballing it because all of my measuring spoons are in the dishwasher. Actually, you know what? They're clean, so give me a second. My 4-in-1 measuring spoon. So it's called 4-in-1 because it's a tablespoon, a teaspoon, and then when you flip the teaspoon over, it's 1/4 and 1/2. So it's your 4 most common measuring in one spoon in one place. It's dishwasher safe. It is plastic. It fits into all the jars, including the skinny one. So this is why people love this spoon. Most of the time you can't fit your plastic round measuring spoon in there, right? You can't. You cannot. You can fit this guy right in there, tablespoon side even, so that you don't have to do the shake and dump and make a mess. So another thing that I love. So I'm going to stir the fajita seasoning into my beans. So this is a great quick vegan lunch. It's much quicker than this in real life. It's just because I'm talking to you so much that it's taking more time than usual. So add your seasonings, and then this is going to be the quick part now. Grab your tortillas. We make our own here. If you don't, that's fine. You want the bigger size. The smaller ones are harder to fold and fill for a quesadilla. So grab your tortilla. Sorry. Paper towel helps slightly damp and it helps keep them moist. A moist tortilla is much easier to fold. So we're going to take some of our nacho cheese spiced cream cheese and cover one side of the tortilla. And then,
did you take another strip?
Ailey, or Ashlyn, please be nice. Yes, it's cardboard craft paper. Don't worry. All right, so one side is covered with our nacho cheese, and then we're going to fill it with our spiced beans. So because our main source of protein is vegetable-based, the beans, I'm going to add a little bit of shredded cheese. So that's a little bit of our fat. The other fat from our meal is going to come from our avocado. So my culinary nutrition side here. In every meal you want to make sure you have a source of lean protein, a source of healthy fats. So oils like avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil, or things like avocados, nuts, and seeds. Those are all great sources of good fats. You want to have fiber. So bonus, the beans gives you fiber. You want to have fruit and vegetables, so that's why we're going to be serving with the salsa and probably a side salad. And generally, you do want to have something fermented. Fermented foods help keep your gut biome happy. So when I serve these, I will serve them with plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream because my girls prefer plain Greek yogurt over sour cream. And it's a great source of protein, but it's also fermented, so it gives you some of those great bacteria for your gut. So we're going to sprinkle in our shredded cheese. Now, the other main purpose of the shredded cheese in a quesadilla is to help seal it shut. So we fold it over, and then I'm going to throw it on my griddle pan. If you don't have a griddle pan, a frying pan is fine. This is my Nana's. This griddle pan, I love it. It was my Nana's. It does a great job. Sorry, my moist paper towel has failed me here. You can just do them in a frying pan. I mean, if you really want to get fancy, you can do a quesadilla on the barbecue and get those really great grill marks. It's just, I always worry that I'm going to end up throwing it through the grill and lose it. Okay, this isn't working. I have bombed here. So, we're going to grab a new tortilla. Start again. Again, another layer of our spicy nacho cheese mix. And some more beans. Yes, Ailey, you had gallons of water that you've been pouring down the drain. Does anyone else watching have a 3-year-old? Do you live this same insane reality? All right, some more cheese. I'd say like a quarter of a cup of cheese is good. No, I don't want it. Thank you. It's like Bill Cosby. Here, I brought you a cookie. I don't want the cookie. Can I have it? All right. So there is that one. And then you basically just grill them until the cheese melts and your quesadilla is ready. It's a case of 2 or 3 minutes on each side, enough to heat up the beans, melt the cheese so that it holds together and you can cut it up, and then serve with your guac and your salsa, a little bit of salad on the side, and you're good to go. So I guess I will close by thanking Daniela again for inviting me into her group today to share with you guys and give you something different and new and exciting to do while we're all doing our job, staying at home, staying safe. I do have an incentive running this month. I'm feeding the front lines. So I have 2 different fundraisers that I'm running this month. I actually am running a full-on fundraiser program where for a $20 donation, you sponsor dinner for a family for a week. And essentially what I'm doing is sending our 5-night dinner collection I'm sending them to the hospital with some of my girlfriends who are nurses, and they will be handing them out to the ER staff that maybe aren't seeing their families. And so it's an opportunity for them to have something at home that's really quick and easy to cook. For the family that's at home waiting for them every night or not, to come home safely. And of that $20, so the $20 sends the collections for 5 nights worth of dinner home with our front line, and then $8 of it is actually going directly to our local food bank. So I'm running it through the fundraiser program that Epicure actually offers. It's really easy to run. That's why. It's just straight up. It's $20, taxes included, and it gives you the full 5-week or 5-night collection dinner favorites. And then they cut a check directly to the food bank on our behalf. So if you would like to sponsor one of those, let me know, and I can share the details with Daniela, and she can make sure to pass them along. The other thing that I am running this month is for my VIP customers. So I have a group similar to this one, where my VIPs, my hosts, my Pantry Club members are part of that. And for everybody who places orders this month, I'm running a game. So there's lots of ways to enter the contest, basically. And at the end of the month, the host rewards from the open cooking class are going to be dispersed. So everybody who participates in the game, anybody who places an order, you get ballots into a draw. When I do the draws, you have the opportunity to either keep the host rewards for yourself and stock your own pantry. Again, most of us are looking for easy ways to do that right now. Or you can nominate a family, whether it's frontline family or someone you know who's in need. And I will use the host rewards to send a care package to them. I can ship anywhere in Canada or the continental US. So I can, you can send me the shipping details for the family you nominate, and it will be delivered directly to their door. Contactless, there's no need for them to answer the door. FedEx will deliver it directly with a porch drop. So if you would like more information about how to get involved in either of my fundraisers, please let me know on the thread here, or reach out to Daniela and let her know that you'd like to know. I can include some of the flyers and the link to that stuff too. I thank you for joining me this morning, I guess it's still morning, this morning to help get your lunch prepared for the day. Again, I do so appreciate Daniela for inviting me in today to share what I love and maybe make at least one of your 21 meals that you have to cook at home this week a little less stressful. So thanks again for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions. I will check the comment thread here. You can send me a private message as well. And I will share an online shopping link if you do want to shop, and we can share some of those host rewards with Daniela as well. So thanks again, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.